Your net worth is the sum of the value of all your assets minus the sum of the value of all of your liabilities. In other words, net worth is the sum of a person's assets minus their liabilities. If your assets are greater than your liabilities, you have a positive net worth. If your liabilities are greater than your assets, you have a negative net worth. But before we get deeper, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. So, without further ado, let's get started. In a 2020 Gallup poll, when asked to describe their social class, 72% of Americans said they belong to the middle or working classes. According to experts, people also take other factors into account when defining their social class, such as education, location, and family history. Larger economic trends may affect how people view their social status. Economic factors like high inflation, waves of employee departures, failing small businesses, and other effects of the coronavirus pandemic have recently had an impact on the prosperity and health of workers and businesses. Unfortunately, the pandemic's economic impact is not taken into account in the most recent statistics on classes from 2019, and we won't know the figures until late 2022 or later. Rakesh Kochhar, a senior researcher at the Pew Research Center, states that the evidence suggests that the median American household income is either stable or slightly down compared to incomes in 2019. Although inflation has increased since 2020 and peaked in 2021, we are still unsure of how wages have changed. The rate of inflation may have an impact on real incomes. According to data from the United States Census Bureau, the average household net worth in the country in 2019, the most recent data available, was $445,900. The average net worth was $118,200. This large disparity illustrates how the concentration of wealth among the richest households can have an impact on the average. Class distinctions and net worth. A power structure based on social and economic standing is referred to as a class in this context. Class and wealth are not the same things. Even though they are closely related, our social status has a significant impact on our attitudes, beliefs, and expectations. These impressions have a lasting effect on the way we feel and behave. Our social status is the primary factor in determining which income bracket we will remain in for the vast majority of people. The upper class, middle class, and lower class, sometimes referred to as the working class, are the three main categories of class. Quintiles are a tool used by the U.S. Census Bureau to analyze the wealth of the nation. Like a quartile, a quintile denotes the fifth of a group. American society can be divided into 5 different economic groups to better understand the middle class. The bottom wealth quintile is the group with the lowest net worth. The top wealth quintile includes the 20% of households with the highest incomes. The bottom quintile is made up of younger households and those with lower levels of education. There is a correlation between educational attainment and wealth accumulation, and younger generations have had less opportunity to accumulate wealth. The proportion of older households and households with the highest level of education is higher in the top quintile. The middle class. The 3 quintiles of the middle income distribution are frequently used to define the middle class. This group is referred to as being in the lower middle class, or upper middle class. There is no single definition for the middle class. Income, net worth, education, and occupation are all factors that affect a person's wealth and financial security. In the end, middle-class people experience a modest level of financial freedom, but they must still rely on factors like their future earning potential and credit to pay for significant expenses or acquire significant assets. The Pew Research Center defines the middle class as families making between 2/3 and twice the median U.S. household income, which was $61,372 in 2017, U.S. Census Bureau. According to Pew, people who make between $42,000 and $126,000 are considered middle income. Although it is the smallest it has been in nearly 50 years, the middle class makes up 52% of the population in the United States, a slight majority. The percentage of income that belongs to the middle class has dropped from 62% in 1970 to 43% in 2014. The middle class is dwindling as a result of an increase in the population at the extremes of the economic spectrum. To determine if you are truly middle class, Kathy Gatti of Money with Kathy said, "You have to judge yourself in the context of where you live and the cost of living." The most obvious indicator of someone who is middle class is their home, which makes up the majority of a person's net worth. For example, if your net worth is $500,000 and your home makes up $450,000 of that, you are considered middle class. The lower middle class is made up of supervisors, proprietors of small businesses, teachers, and secretaries. The upper middle class comprises CEOs, lawyers, stockbrokers, and medical professionals. These are professionals and people with advanced education. The upper class. Only 1% to 3% of Americans belong to the upper class, which controls more than 25% of the nation's wealth. This class is divided into two groups, lower upper and higher upper. According to participants in Schwab's 2021 Modern Wealth Survey, being wealthy is defined as having a net worth of $1.9 million. On the other hand, less than half of that is typically held by American households. But since wealth is subjective, a person's perception of wealth can vary depending on several variables, including his or her location, occupation, community, and background. Such perceptions might alter as younger generations mature and redefine success. People are lowering the threshold for what they consider to be wealthy. According to the yearly Schwab study, respondents to the 2020 study describe a net worth of $2.6 million as the wealth threshold, which is lower than the 2021 norms. Amy Richardson, a certified financial advisor on Schwab's Intelligent Portfolios Premium team, claims that, in addition to the coronavirus outbreak, other factors that influence how people perceive wealth include rising inflation and low unemployment rates. Despite having different ideas about what constitutes wealth, many people believe they need to acquire more to achieve their goals in the short term, according to Richardson, who wrote in an email. According to Phillips, a lot of people who are wealthy in our country are wealthy not because they have income, but rather because they have assets, like real estate or other investments that have been gained, whereas money pays for a person's lifestyle and everyday costs. The lower upper class includes those who have new money or money made from investments, business ventures, and other sources. The upper class is made up of those aristocratic and high society families who have been affluent for many generations. These incredibly wealthy people are supported by the income from their inherited wealth. The status of the upper class is superior to that of the lower upper class. The lower or working class. Poverty is frequently more of an identity or a series of events than it is a measure of one's financial situation. You might feel helpless if you've gone overdrawn at the grocery store or spent nights sleeping in your car. You might feel poor if your parents were poor. You couldn't afford new clothes or you couldn't get a good education. Contrarily, poverty is defined by more than just a feeling or an event. Government poverty standards and various income ceilings divide the poor and lower middle class. It might be challenging to define poverty. Gregory Axe, Vice President for Income and Benefits Policy at the Urban Institute adds, "You may feel like you're struggling, and you may be, but your income could be far above the poverty threshold." Individuals and families can use a variety of methods to determine whether they fall into a specific definition of poverty. The official poverty rate in 2017 was 12.3%, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, with rates among African Americans and Hispanics being significantly higher. A person under the age of 65 without children makes $12,752 per year, which is less than the poverty threshold as determined by the U.S. Census Bureau for 2017. This number rises as the size of the household increases. At $24,858 per year, a family of 4 with 2 children under the age of 18 is considered to be below the poverty line. Another metric, the Supplemental Poverty Measure, aims to advance the methodology for determining income and poverty in the U.S. It does with updated data and methodology in 2017. The additional poverty rate was 13.9%. The Supplemental Poverty Measure shows that the poverty level for 2 adult, 2-child households without mortgages was $23,261 in 2017, while it was $27,085 for those with mortgages. There are various definitions of poverty. Even if you don't live in poverty, you may still need assistance. On the other hand, a person with a low income who has access to money and assets might not even feel or be considered to be in need. The media frequently stigmatizes the lower class as the underclass, incorrectly portraying the poor as drug addicts, criminals, and societal trash, as well as welfare mothers who abuse the system by having an increasing number of children and welfare fathers who could work but do not. Unskilled workers in this class include people like servers, cashiers, maids, and dishwashing machines. They are frequently underpaid and have few opportunities for advancement. One phrase that is frequently used to describe them is the working poor. Among the skilled workers in this industry are carpenters, plumbers, and electricians. These individuals are frequently referred to as blue-collar workers. Despite making more money than middle-class workers, secretaries, teachers, and computer technicians have more physically demanding jobs. The average net worth by age and education. Households' net worth increases with age because they accumulate assets over time, such as real estate, cars, or other vehicles, and retirement savings. According to research by the Federal Reserve, education can help with wealth creation in 3 different ways. The Head Start effect. Parents with college degrees are more likely to earn more than parents without college degrees, potentially giving their kids a head start in life by giving them access to better performing school districts, private schools, and tutors. The Upward Mobility effect. A child born into a family without a college degree can greatly improve their economic status by obtaining a college degree. Such a family's income percentile ranking is predicted to rise by 23% from where it would be without a degree. The downward mobility effect occurs when a parent's college-educated offspring do not pursue a college degree. According to statistics, they reduce their wealth by 18th percentile. Depending on your financial situation, there may be federal or state programs that can assist you with housing, food, and educational costs. Government initiatives to alleviate poverty include Social Security, unemployment insurance, and refundable tax credits like the Earned Income Tax Credit. Building a safety net might be made easier if you know whether you are eligible for benefits and how to get them. Doing everything in your power to land and keep a respectable job with room for advancement is also a good idea. Working in a field that pays well and provides opportunities for advancement is the safest and best thing to do for those who are poor, physically fit, and in good health. According to one study, working for a company that does not offer paid sick leave is even associated with poverty, so pursuing or fighting for these benefits is essential. Others will not be satisfied with any amount of accumulated wealth, and many people who fit this description may not view themselves as wealthy. When they see these wealth standards, other people who are struggling with debt or unemployment might feel defeated. According to experts, knowing how you compare to your peers can be useful in teaching you good money management and financial principles. They advise gathering wage cues from co-workers and rivals as well as creating net worth goals that take into account both your particular circumstances and the possibilities found in peers. Your net worth is a key indicator of your financial health, since it quantifies the difference between what you own and what you still owe. It provides important information about your ability to pay off debts and have assets available for long-term living expenses, retirement, and estate planning. Simply put, you'll have more financial freedom the more you have. What position do you occupy in the American economic pyramid? Consider your income, education, marital status, location, family history, gut instinct, and several other factors to determine where you fall. The fundamental finding is that determining the answer requires more work than merely looking at the number. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell button to get updated on our latest videos. Don't forget to like this video and drop a comment. See you next time.